Hi again, folks. Are you ready to make some cornstarch paper mache paste? So there's the recipe on the left. All you want to do is carefully, which I am not doing so well here, is measure out your materials and you're going to dump them in there. And what's most important for you to understand is that cornstarch is a really bizarre substance. And you're going to need to continuously stir that cornstarch into that cold water in order for it to mix. When you first start stirring, it's like hard and clumpy, and it's really weird. If you stop stirring, it'll realign itself molecularly and clump right back up. So you have to vigorously stir it and make sure it's liquid in a liquid form and not into that solid chunky stuff at the bottom while you pour it into this boiling water. And then immediately start stirring that in there, and it'll instantly change into almost a solid. It's pretty thick. That's like pancake batter. I made an extra thick version of it because I'm doing some experiments here to make non-toxic sculpture materials. So here we go. I took a blender and I took a cup of that mixture, and I just started adding toilet paper and also some paper towels, and I already ripped them up into small pieces, and I mixed them into that blender until I could get a slurry. So here's my slurry. Without it would bind much more paper and it would bind up, but that is like pretty chunky thick. Sorry to use that word, the C word. I know some of you don't like that. Almost as bad as the M word, which I will refrain from using, but it is definitely that. You want this to be pretty darn thick, because this is going to be our wet mixture for adding to our dry materials. And so I experimented using sawdust first, which I just collected off of tarp, which I'm building cabin. So this has all kinds of hemlock needles in it and some other leaves and various accoutrements, organic material. And I just mixed it right in there, and you'll see it later on in the video. So get a nice clean fork, mix it in there, make sure all that dust flies all over your kitchen, so you have to clean it up. And keep mixing it in until you get a pretty thick consistency. So if you've played with clay before, you want it to be malleable enough that you can mold some detail work into it, but not so loose that it wants to slump over and kind of slide off whatever material you're going to put it onto. And I ended up just crumpling up. I tried some experiments. I did tin foil, and then I also I molded up some paper towel and put this right over top, which is the method that I would recommend. Once it's dry and you pull it out of the oven, because I put it at 200 in my oven for a few hours, and it firmed right up. I'm super happy and excited about this because it is basically just sawdust and cornstarch. So it's as non-toxic as it probably can get. I mean, any dust is bad for you. You should understand that, especially as an art teacher, because you're around it all day. Especially too if you're an elementary school teacher, because little kids' lungs, you gotta keep them nice and clean. So, anyhow, here it is. I'm flattening it out into like a pinch pot, essentially, putting it over top of that paper towel, and now I can I just used a pencil and my finger, and I made some basic eyes and a mouth and a nose, and it's pretty cool. And I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to definitely make some, some more for my final project, but I'm going to incorporate these ones into a project. And I think I'm going to make an illuminated demon mask, because all of us have a dark and a light side, and it's important for us to really think about that and not shy and run away from our demons, because they always have control of us. We have to, put a light on them so we can see who they are and so we can have a relationship with them. Speaking of demons, there's my Nobusuma from my sketchbook for my watercolor painting class that I'm taking, and I have all the other masks next to it. I didn't do a very good job taking a picture of the masks, but here they are. The bottom row is just sawdust and the cornstarch. And the second one, I did a 50-50 cornstarch and Mod Podge and mixed that up with the sawdust. And it's a little bit gray because I also did just 100% acrylic and sawdust to see what would happen. And it works. So those of you that have those old, I hate to call you out, but sacks or Triarco half gallons, and I have probably 100 of them in my closet, which I don't know what to do with. I hate to throw them away, but they're just sitting there. They're like probably 25 years old. But you can mix those with sawdust, but here you can hear how hard that is. Now that is Durham's rock putty, and I'll put a picture of Durham's rock putty in, but pretty cool. So essentially, we can now make materials out of free stuff. I mean, a box of cornstarch is $1 at the dollar store or the Dollar General, whatever is near you, and that'll last a long time and make a ton of materials for you to use with your students, or at home if you're just chilling on YouTube watching videos of random dudes making stuff. And I think it's pretty neat. And you can also mix in some acrylic, experiment. I mean, that's half the fun of making art in general, is just innovating stuff that's lying around the house that you're like, it's just going to sit there or collect dust, or, you're going to wonder what to do with it because it's sitting on your closet. So I'm excited also to have the students, and it's a great way of getting rid of materials in an art room, at least, because I'd hate to just throw paint away and put it in the landfill, which essentially is can get in our water supply, or pay to have it taken away whenever we can just dry it out, which makes it pretty innocuous, if that's the right word I'm looking for. But it's harmless. It'll just dry up and just get put with all the other mountains of trash that we throw away. So you don't need anything special. Here's a screen. I'm filtering out some of the pine needles and leaves and stuff, but actually I found that they held together better with those long fiber sawdust pieces. So that's why I'm adding this in at the end. If you don't know what a decal is too, when you rip your paper, those little pieces of fiber, the paper sticking out, that's why I did the blending and added the paper in. So anyhow, have a great day. Keep making art. And eat more pizza. Make less war. Bye-bye.